In this video, my newly finished Beast Herd army makes its first appearance against Saurian Ancients. I'm Alex and you're watching Winter Wolf Miniatures. Welcome back. Once again, the amount of time between battle reports has been far too long. But here it is, and today I have something really special for you. In my defense, I've been playing a couple of warm-up games with my new army, and didn't want to make a battle report just yet. So far, I have one win, one loss, and one unfinished game. So this will be my fourth game in total. And I'm starting to get the hang of it now. So let's just get going. Here is my list. A master wizard with shamanism on a raiding chariot. He brings the seed of the dark forest, so I can place a forest at the end of the deployment phase. A beast lord on a Razortusk chariot with hunting call, Hawthorne's curse, and crown of horns. A beast chieftain, he is the battle standard, and also a greater totem bearer. I have 3 units of Wildhorns, each with a banner of discipline. 2 of them is ambushing. 2 units of raiders, 1 is ambushing. 25 ambushing longhorns. Some centaurs, 3 briar beasts, and a couple of monsters. The Saurian Ancients list looked like this. An Anorak archmage with druidism and forbidden mastery. A skink veteran, a bunch of Tegu warriors and Tegu guards, some skink hunters and guerrillas, and what has me most worried, 4 Stygosaurs and 2 Taurosaurs. Here is the battlefield, and we rolled for deployment and second objective and got frontline clash and breakthrough. My opponent, Manne, deployed first and deployed all his troops to get first turn. Half of my army is ambushing, but the rest deployed like this. And here is his spells, his mage's spell to the left and unit champions and whatnot to the right. And here is my spells, Master Shamanism and Great Totem. And here is my coffee.
Muy importante! Muy importante!
Before we began, he threw a toad on my longhorns, and we did some uninteresting vanguards. And I of course placed my forest. Lizards turn 1. The army moves up, and the skinks turn around to be on the lookout for unexpected/expected visitors from behind. At first he was trying out this place for his Taurosaur, but then he placed it here, looking backwards. Pyroclastic flow killed 4 wolves, and the last one lost interest and decided to go home. And he got Cloak of Cinders out on these guys. They shoot on my general, but he didn't notice. Beasts turn 1. My giant has a giant drink. The wolf ran away, and then the rest of the army shows up. Longhorns and Wildhorns here, centaurs and 2 briar beasts here. Another briar beast appears in the field, and some raiders arrive on the left flank. The Wabayoyo, the Wabababa, the Wabayuk, the Wabayak, the what the hell is it called? Jabberwook. The Wabayuk flies up, but the rest of the army stays pretty much where it is. A bit of an overview here. The Stygosaurs is a problem, so I opt to try and control them a bit by breaking their spirit. It's successful, but I miscast on 4s and forget the spell, which is not good. He lets it go and dispels my other spells. The Wildhorns throw stuff at the skinks, killing 4 and the rest pass their panic test. The Cyclops throws a statue, and together with a shot from my general they kill a Stygosaur. And it's Lizard's turn 2. The Caiman warriors moves away. The Tegu warriors turn around and the skinks blocks the way. The Taurosaur flanks. On the other side of the board, the other Taurosaur runs away from the centaurs, and Skinks blocks their charge path. He casts Master of Earth on my Briar Beast, and it makes 2 wounds. I dispel the first healing spell, but he gets Summer Growth on the Stygosaurs, getting the dead guy back with 2 health. Some bad photos of Skinks shooting Briar Beasts, first unsuccessful and then successfully. Panic on the centaurs, that was bad of me, but they pass. Beasts turn 2. Another bad photo, but you get the idea. They charge. The centaurs charge the skinks, but 2 are killed from their stand and shoot. The briar beast runs this way and attacks the Tegu guards in the ass. The other one runs this way. The last unit of Wildhorns pass their ambush roll this time and can join the fun. Banana for scale. They appear here. The Wabayuk, the Jabberwook, Wabayak flies up some more, and the giant follows the raiders who move up to flank here. The Stygosaurs can see the raiders, but I'm thinking that if he wants to use his 680 points unit to kill my 90 points raiders over there, he should be allowed to do so. The Wildhorns enter the ruin, and the raiders on the left back away from the Caimans. In this magic phase, I really only have one spell I want to cast, and it's Totemic Summon, to block the dinosaur here. The problem is, he knows that. I use 4 dice and hope for a high roll, but get the opposite. The spell fails. That means he still have all his dice, so that's that magic phase done. No magic for me. The Wildhorns throw stuff at the dinosaur in desperation and makes 1 wound. And that's the only wound in this shooting phase, since everything else misses or does no damage. The Wildhorns and Longhorns kill almost all the skinks, and the last skinks fled towards the Torosaur. The Wildhorns caught them as well as it. The Longhorns stay and face the Tegu warriors, but they fail to kill the Briar Beast. They turn around to face him. On the less interesting side of the board, the Centaurs chase away the skinks, but don't run far enough themselves and are caught by the Torosaur in Lizard's turn 3. The Tegu guards turn around and the Stygosaurs moves a tiny bit closer and most importantly out from the Wabayuk's line of sight. He casts Cloak of Cinders on the Tegu warriors and then I dispel the rest of his shenanigans. The skinks shoot at the Briar Beast and makes 1 damage. A charging Torosaur means bye-bye Centaurs. The Tegu warriors kills the Briar Beast and can reform. After some careful measuring and fidgeting, it turns out he managed to reform, so he gets both my units in its front arc. So yeah, fuck that. Beast's turn 3. In anger, I decide that it's time to deal with the Stygosaurs and charge them with the giant. He holds, so I charge my general as well. He considers fleeing, but feared the huge amount of Danish strain tests, so he holds again. So I charge the raiders as well, because why not? The sorcerer charges the Tegu guards. They are very far away, but might be successful. And so does the Jabberwook. The general makes his charge, and so does the giant, which is fantastic, because it means I can place them like this. Because he is afraid of my general's charge, he will probably wanna duel him with his champion, which is this one. That would mean he loses attacks from these two, and he don't have attacks enough with the last one to kill any one of the others. The Jabberwook makes his charge, but the sorcerer fail. I try for the Totemic Summon again to block his Tegu guards, but that's dispelled. He used all his dice, so I can instead buff my Longhorns with Gnarled Hide and the Wildhorns with Blooded Horn. The Raiders shoot at the Caimans and makes 1 wound. The Wildhorns throw stuff on the Tegu warriors, and so does the Sigor, but he misses. The Jabberwook wins, but the Tegu guard reforms. The Wildhorn is chased away, and the Torosaur pursues into the Longhorns, and the Stygosaurs are erased. What happened was that the Beast Lord killed the champion who challenged as expected. The only Stygosaur who could do anything missed the giant and killed 4 raiders, so the rest fled but was run down. Lizard's turn 4. The Tegu warriors charges the Wildhorns and the Torosaur charges the Longhorns. The other Torosaur charges the Jabberwook from behind. The Caimans charge the raiders, who flee. They then roll the impressive roll of 4 on their charge roll and moves nowhere. The other charges are of course successful, and here is the entire board. And over there is an idiot with a camera. Cloak of Cinders is cast on the Torosaur, and I dispelled at least one of his 2 heal spells. The Tegu warriors then kill the Wildhorns and reforms. In the other fight, the Jabberwook does what it can, but dies as a result of blunt force trauma to the ass. Beast's turn 4. The Wildhorns successfully charges the Caimans in the flank, but 3 of them died in the ruin. The Sigor, Beastlord and Giant all successfully charges the Tegu guard. The fleeing Wildhorns fail their rally test twice and run away off the board. And so does the raiders down here. The sorcerer moves up, and the other unit of raiders blocks the Torosaur. He lets me have Gnarled Hide on my Longhorns, because he knows the only thing I really want is Totemic Summon to block the Tegu warriors. I tried, but it was dispelled. The Wildhorns killed 1 Caiman, but lost 4. The Caimans was then able to reform. Not good. In the other big fight, I decimated the Tegu guards. Only 4 remaining, but that means they are bodyguard, and stuck around. All he did to me was 2 wounds on the giant, so I'll kill him for certain the next round of combat. In the Longhorn/Torosaur fight, nothing exciting happened, except I was able to reform my way out from a possible charge from his Tegu warriors, which felt sneaky. Lizards turned 5, and the worst possible thing happened. The Taurosaur charged the raiders, and they fled because of terror. Leadership 9 from the general is not enough when you roll 11. At least he couldn't charge the general, but he managed to redirect and charge the giant. The Tegu warriors reforms again, being blocked a bit by the Briar Beast. Awaken the Beast for extra toughness is cast on the Taurosaur, but that's the only spell he gets. In the important fight over here, the charging Taurosaur killed the giant on impact. The Beast Lord killed the remaining 4 Tiger guards, but the Sigmar failed to kill the toad thing. I lost the fight, but passed my break tests, and the Taurosaur of course overrun into my Beast Lord. The Caimans killed the Wildhorns as expected, and turn around to go and claim the secondary objective. On a good note, the Longhorns finally killed the other Taurosaur. Beasts turn 5. The Longhorn charged the Tegu warriors in the face, and the Sorcerer charged them in the flank, and the Briar Beast charged them in the other flank. The Raiders rally. A bit too late for that roll of 5 though. Awaken the Beast is successfully cast on the Longhorns, but I get no other spells. And then it gets awkward. I once again failed to kill the Toad, but worse, I also lost the fight. Only with 1 single point though, but that doesn't matter because with the fear from the Taurosaur it means I have discipline 7. And I rolled 8 with the Cyclops and 9 with the Beast Lord. And this is the flee and pursuit distances. So I make it, but it's of course his turn next, so that doesn't mean much. In the other fight, he kills the Briar Beasts and some Longhorns. I win the fight, but he's steadfast and sticks around. Lizards turn 6. The Toad and Taurosaur takes turns to charge and redirect their charges until my Beast Lord ran off the board. And they failed charged and ended up here. My Cyclops is fleeing, but at least it's alive. The Caimans claim the secondary objective. He threw Cloak of Cinders at his Tegu warriors. I tried to dispel it, but rolled 10 against his 11. He then casted a heal on the Toad to deny me half of its points. It goes off on a 5, and he barely made it. With Cloak of Cinders active, I didn't do much on the Tegu warriors, but he killed all my Longhorns. The brave BSB held, but my Sorcerer fled. Beasts turn 6. The Sorcerer and the Cyclops rallied, and I casted Awaken the Beast on my BSB, but it was dispelled. Gnarled Hide was then also dispelled, but at least he got Blooded Horn for an extra attack and 2 extra armor penetration. In the last fight of this game, my brave BSB not only killed a bunch of lizards, but he also survived and didn't break from combat. Too bad my Longhorns died, otherwise I too would have claimed the objective. I am sure you can't wait to hear the score of this exciting game, and I'll tell you shortly. First, I just want to remind you to hit like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Other ways you can support the channel is, of course, to leave a comment, share it with friends, and of course support me on Patreon. It costs almost nothing and it's the right thing to do. So, the score. In the end, the Lizards got 3,305 points. That's with the bonus of 200 from the general. I got 2,694 points, so that's 12 against 8 for the Lizards. But they also got the secondary objective, which means the final score is 15 to 5. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.